Good morning, everyone. My name's Alyssa Cooper, and once again, this is Cooking in Quarantine. So today is our continuation of the celebration of corn. I was on the phone with my dad this morning, and he said in their little community garden, he harvested probably 300 ears of corn yesterday, and they were all gone in a couple of hours. So corn is maybe the most delightful part of summer to me. I can eat corn on the cob. I can make salads with it. I put it in lobster salad. I do all kinds of things with it. So yesterday I made a really fantastic corn chowder. And today what I'm doing is I'm kind of zhuzhing up and making a wonderful jalapeno cheddar cornbread that's going to have whole kernel, fresh blanched corn, a little minced scallion, some very finely diced red bell pepper, some very finely diced jalapeno pepper, and some white cheddar cheese. So I've already made a half batch, and I have it in the oven cooking in a cast iron skillet. Caroline Hall, who is outside of Philadelphia, and I were walking on iPhone together this morning, and she suggested that what she does when she butters her skillet, she puts a tiny little bit of the sugar in the bottom of the skillet, puts the batter on top of that. So what I did was I did a little bit of sugar, but I did a little bit more salt because I am not a sweet person, you know. I'm a nasty old bitch. So I like it salty and bitter. So anyway, we've got that in there, and in about 7-8 minutes I'm going to check on it and see how we're coming. In the meantime, I've already measured out my dry ingredients for a quarter batch because look at what I have, this nice old-fashioned corn stick mold. So I thought it would be fun to make a few of them there, and then we can see how it turns out and get ready to make another batch. So I have in here flour, grits, sugar, and baking powder. Why grits instead of cornmeal? One of the things that I dislike about cornbread is that very often it's so smooth that it's almost like cake, especially when it's smooth and sweet. So your grits are a much rougher mill than regular cornmeal is. So that's why I use that. I like the toothsomeness that you get from a rougher mill. So that's what I have in here. Now I'm going to add milk and egg. Whoops. Well, that was a very thin shelled egg. Where did my shell go? Wow. That was super thin. Do you think I'll ever get it out? Let's see. Or did I even lose it? Did my shell go inside my shell? I can't decide. What is happening here? Well, let's find out. Let's see what happens. Ah, there it is. I found it. Shell. No. Oh, shell. There it is. Shell. Very, very thin shelled egg here. So let's see. So I'm going to mix this up. I found a little more shell. Okay, there. Maybe that'll float to the top here while we're doing this, because I've got to melt a half a stick of butter. There we go. Turn that down on low. And while I'm searching for shells, that can melt. So let me see here. Ah, there it is. Rachel Ray says shell. No, that is not wanting to come like that. Am I really going to have to waste a half a cup of milk over a little piece of shell? That seems all wrong. Here we go. How's that? Another little bit of shell. Excellent. And I dropped a piece. And I've got a piece. How close are we? Is my butter melting over here? Ah, here we go. Now I believe I have all the shell and my butter's melting. And so one thing I'm going to do over here, I did a little bit more than it called for, so I'm going to have the butter here. And you know my pastry brush stinks of garlic, so no sweets here. So I'm going to brush my butter here into my forms. I have no idea if this is going to give me 6 or 4 or 8. So I'm going to go ahead and just do the whole thing, and while it's cooking, it'll just re-cure the empty ones, right? There we go. Okay. So that's all good. This is almost melted, so I'm just going to let that finish here, and I'm going to let it sit because I don't want it to curdle my eggs or my milk. So I'm going to let that sit just for a second. And I'm going to come up here and see who's with us today. How very exciting. Hello, Carolyn. How lovely to see you. And anybody else that's out there, there's another person out there I can see. So anyway, here's all of this, and I'm going to now pour the butter into your milk and egg and give that a quick stir. Perfect. And now what you want to do is put this into your dry mixture, and you don't want to over stir. Just, this is not about making it lump free. This is about just incorporating the liquid into the dry. Remember, flour, grits, because I don't use cornmeal, salt, baking powder, and a little sugar. All right? Okay, and that's good. And the dry is largely incorporated, and I see the last tiny bit of shell. Lord have mercy, that is, I can't count on 2 hands. And I can count on 1 finger probably the number of times that's happened. All right, so now let's talk about our other ingredients. So I'm going to put a nice hearty handful. I blanched the corn in salty water, right? We want to have enough pieces of corn here for that. I'm going to put a nice handful of the onion in there as well. Now I wanted to put these red bell peppers in because I think they're pretty, brings nice color, but I cut them in advance, and I put them in a coffee filter so I could get the excess moisture out of it, because I didn't want them to wet my, I just want them to color. And then jalapenos. This jalapeno, the last couple of days, I have gotten jalapeno everywhere. I got the hottest bunch of jalapenos I've had in a very long time. So now we're going to mix all this together, and this needs to rest for 15-20 minutes before you put it in. And I'm just going to say I've got the extra room in here for all this good stuff, so waste not, want not, I'm going to say. And then last but not least, we're going to put a couple of hearty handfuls of white shredded cheddar. Of course, you can use yellow cheddar if that's what you have in the house. I happen to have this. The recipe does, I think, call for it, doesn't it? Yes, it does. Oh no, it just says extra sharp grated. So there's this, and now get this mixed in, and beautiful, 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 beautiful. That looks great. So now I'm going to take a towel and cover it, and look at my clock, and this will be ready to go into these at about 1/2 after it's had its time to rest. And we are at 1:07 for my first batch of cornbread. So I'm very excited to see how that might have turned out. Hello, Cal. How are you guys doing? Have you gotten the Hyatt in order? I'm sure you're dying to get going. So I decided to wear this. I've been wearing this shirt, frankly, for a couple of days. Don't tell anybody. I'm very, very good with not dribbling down my front. But yesterday was the 100th anniversary of the ratification of women's right to vote, or the white woman's right to vote. Let's be very clear about that. And I have all of my high school girlfriends, luckily, are lefties, and so we can all still be friends. And so watching the convention last night, we just really got to thinking about how remarkable this is, that even as we are facing the horrors of the potentiality of fascism, then my generation is the first generation to be able to say, hey, wow, we can go to school, we can have birth control, we don't have to ask our father's permission or our husband's permission. We were talking this morning about how a friend of mine, her law partner, retired now, who is nearly 90, had already had 3 children before the birth control pill came out, and she still had to have her husband's permission before the doctor would prescribe it to her. And when you think about how that, in this country, until I was in high school, we lived under abject apartheid, and until I was in elementary school, women did not have the right to move freely about this country, and we still talk about freedom in this country. So I think we have a really, really long way to go before we actually enjoy freedom in this country. So let's see how this is looking. Where are my tools? Let's see what we got. Oh, this is baking up really nicely, guys. So I think another 10 minutes, and that's going to be absolutely beautiful. So let me clear this. Oops, stop. Clear. Perfect. Hello. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So another 10 minutes, and I think that'll brown up really nicely. Another 10 minutes or so, and this will be ready to go into the forms. So tomorrow, I'm going to make my mom's corn pudding, which will be very exciting to do. And I've been monkeying with making my own Korean barbecue sauce, which I like, which I'm enjoying very much. So I'm going to play with that a little bit more this afternoon. So what I would say to you guys is, what I could use from everybody is, if anybody has a spare computer or a tab open or enough bandwidth, go to my YouTube page, Cooking in Quarantine with Alyssa Cooper, and just hit play all and let it play. Go to the video list, play all, and let it play. If you haven't joined my channel, subscribe to my channel there, please do so. Things are not good here, and things are not going to be good for a long time, so I need to be a YouTube star. Share with all of your friends, make them all follow me. It would be really helpful. So guys, that's all I know today. Like tomorrow, we're going to make some corn pudding. It's going to be great. I think my cornbread is going to be great with my corn soup. So you guys, I love you all. You know, I just 2 seconds before I started reading an article talking about what the frustrations of being an infectious disease expert right now today are. And the doctors that I saw interviewed, they said, you know, the politicization and the attacks on us are one thing, but the worst thing is that people don't give a bloody hell about anybody else. Wear your mask. I don't care what you think a barrier method is about. I don't understand how, if a condom works, how you don't think a mask works. Wear your mask. Show respect for other people. It's like Dr. Fauci said, and Sale reminded us yesterday, I don't know how to tell you to care about other people, but it is a mandate. If you've ever walked into a Christian church in your life, it is a freaking mandate to love your neighbor. Now, it's not my fault if you haven't figured out how to love yourself, but you're supposed to, and you can't be a Christian if you don't love yourself. So figure that out, learn how to love yourself, and then treat your neighbor accordingly. Because when you treat your neighbor like garbage, you tell me that you are a broken person inside. Fix that shit before you're dead. Thank you. That's all. So anyway, guys, cornbread dressing, yeah, and the hotel sucks, so do not stay in the Hyatt in Atlanta. They're no good. On the other side, Hugo and I have been trying to find a place where we can go, get a hotel room this weekend, and sit by the pool. I can't tell you how many places have been willing to take a reservation from us, only to tell us later their pool isn't open. Or, worse yet, that we can only have 90 minutes at the pool, because then they'll run us off, they'll clean the whole pool deck, and then a whole different group of people get to come to the pool. So we're going to dine out on rooftops this weekend, because who wants to go for 90 minutes to a pool? Not me. Anyway, guys, that's the story. I wonder if this is looking any better down here. You know, I know Bobby Flay says when you're looking, you're not cooking. I really want to know. Here, if I go with my flashlight, maybe I can tell a little better. It still needs to brown up. So anyway, guys, that's all I know. Do your thing. Love your neighbor. Make good food. And do something kind for somebody else. That's all. You will feel so much better with your world. You will be so much happier. You'll be so much more fulfilled. Go do something. Get out of yourself. Get out of your head. Don't be a libertarian. Give, give, give to other people. It's like Michelle Obama said, when we see somebody down, we give them a hand and we don't judge them. Because guess what, brothers and sisters? We are all down right now. I love you. Cook something good to eat. Take care of somebody you love. And tip your workers. Ciao, babies.